Oh, there we are.
Hey,
I take it you can hear me just fine?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I never used my USB mic before, so this is interesting.
Cool.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on and doing a Skype with me, Tobias. I appreciate it.
No, I love it. It's great.
Cool. Cool.
For some reason, my Skype, it won't answer the first time, but it does the second time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's weird, but it kind of does that.
Yeah, it does that with me all the time too. So hopefully we don't get disconnected.
Let me make myself invisible, and we're better off. There we go. Well, let me ask you. I've been getting told intuitively that I need to do a podcast now and just get a little bit more serious about it, or get a little more intention there. So I'm noticing your mic.
Yeah,
So,
USB. I even made my own pop filter myself. Went on YouTube, went to the old fabric store and put the bitch together myself. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something different, something new. I'm just still trying to figure this shit out, dude. To be honest with you. What drew me to start doing this? Who knows? I mean, I was just, 4 years ago in 2009 and 10, something happened. Something shifted inside of me, and this is probably one of the reasons why I'm drawn to your videos, is because there's something. Only certain people can hear the messages. You know what I mean? And I'm fortunate. I feel fortunate to be able. Can't hear all of them. Can't resonate with everything, but that I will. That I can. I will. And I don't judge any other messages because I'm learning as I'm aging. I'm 47, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
I learned that the message that you can't resonate with right now might be the message that will resonate later. So don't judge it right now.
Right. I like that. That's beautiful. That's a huge wake-up learning for anyone to get that okay, that's far out from me, or that makes no sense whatsoever, or that sounds completely wackadoodle, but I'm just going to put that in, I don't know yet, or I don't know what that's about. And that's really humility, or respect, or, I don't know, humanity or something, It's very nice. I like that.
They never let me hang out with them, and they never let me, do these things. And I always grew up with this bias against these potheads. These potheads. And in my early 40s, I actually started smoking cannabis, and I'm going, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. You'll start doing my research. Came across Terence McKenna in that research back in 2009. Wow. Yeah, and that was now we open that fucking floodgate. Of information that not many people can resonate with at all, let alone watch hours of it.
Terence McKenna, the cerebral illuminist that's able to take these things, energetic frequencies, and put them into some sort of eloquence that passes Plato and terrifies Mark Twain. I don't know, what does McKenna do? It's like unbelievable,
I'll tell you, he had the gift to gab, and thank God he recorded it.
Yeah, and other
it would have been so sad to lose that.
Yeah, and you can listen to him. He creates what I call mental orgasms.
I love that. That's nice.
You know what I mean?
That's very true.
Because
anything else going on this planet. I mean, yes, bees dance and dolphins squeak and chimpanzees do what they do, but it's a hell of a step from there to Wallace Stevens, let alone William Shakespeare. Language is the unique province of human beings, and language is the unique tool of the artist. The artist is the person of language.
That's very true.
Yeah, because it's like each of our chakras. By the way, are you recording this?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I want you to.
Okay,
that's
good,
what I'm saying,
yeah,
because it's already doing
definitely want to
good
definitely
shit.
put the shit back out there. Absolutely.
Yeah, so each chakra has orgasms.
Okay.
Each energy center, you can have super ahas, and that's like Terence's mastery.
Yes.
Super, like cosmic, like your brain, your crown chakra, and your third eye go. And he could do that by speaking eloquently and with some kind of beautiful, soft, respectful voice that you would just sit there and go, oh my God, he's blowing my mind. You know what I mean?
And so, like you said, so gently.
He was very sweet and gentle, you know? And so, yeah, each chakra, and this is part of what my next thing is, you know, that to do the full spectrum human, you know, the full spectrum, where we are these complete beings. We're not just cerebral masters like, I don't know, Stephen Hawking. Maybe you could say Stephen Hawking. Now I might get some criticism for saying what I'm about to do next, but you might suggest that Stephen Hawking has kind of not been that interested in his body.
Fair to say.
Yeah, or you know, he's studying gravity and he's experiencing it to the full effects. I'm kind of trying to make some fun. But you know, that approach, Oxford, Harvard, super studies, CERN, linear accelerator, mental cerebral thing, is kind of limited. Now, Terrence took it to another level. His brother at MIT. And I grew up with this. My dad was a nuclear physicist. My best friends were like turning down scholarships to MIT. And here's a quote. Because they would say, I'm such a bleeping nerd already. If I go there, I will disconnect from like actually being ever to talk to girls.
Wow, talk about social conditioning, eh?
I know. But that's what he thought at the time. So I'm just saying, you know, we have different aspects of the human. The mental thing is beautiful. I watched a guy, there's some theorem in mathematics that's the unsolvable theorem. I can't remember what it is right now. But a beautiful, sweet, gentle soul, innocent, that was a professor at Oxford. And he actually saw fulcrum, or I can't remember what it was. But he solved it. This thing that mathematicians had been playing with for decades about it's unsolvable. And he was so sweet and gentle about it, and I could just feel the beauty of mathematics. Now, not everybody gets that. Most people are like, oh my God, that is so, I don't want to go even algebra, it's too much. The most people, right? But if you actually
I'm part of that group, yeah.
Right. But if you go into math, that place, it can be very beautiful. You can create whole universes of mathematical language. It's symbolism. Mm-hmm. But then someone can be a heart master. You know, a heart master. Is that seriously like Snoopy's Christmas music in the background for you?
Yeah, over and over and over.
Okay, I'm just telling you, that my world of super coincidence is happening continuously for me now.
Awesome.
I just left my living room with Pandora playing, and that's the song that was playing.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And I made comments on it. Synchronicity, waking up to synchronicity like Carl Jung did, you know, or Sting was inspired to, he read Carl Jung's stuff, and therefore the Police's album, Synchronicity, right?
Okay.
And then it started going huge for them. They got too big, and Sting said, I quit because I don't want someone to die in the band, right?
Wow,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Kind of like when you hit that giant collective energy, and if you listen to his subsequent albums, there's not the same power. He was kind of turning into the Dark Prince, you know, making that movie Dune, you know?
Okay.
And that was all from him reading Spirits in the Material World, from Carl Jung stuff, you know?
That's wild,
Synchronicity. You know what? I love this stuff. I call that behind the scenes, you know, sort of operational memes, you know?
Yeah.
And this is an awesome time to be alive right now, because that's what's being revealed everywhere. Like you said, you know, you saw, okay, this is the weirdo potheads, and then all of a sudden it goes, whoosh.
Right. And there was a reason why I wasn't supposed to resonate at that time, and I'm learning that too. I'm learning that a lot of things that I've done, you know, I was about to open a restaurant, and I started back in 1992 with the idea of it. And back then I had this thing came to me in a flash. Okay, I'm going to do this. I don't know why. You know, fruits, vegetables, juices, smoothies, and healthy entrees. 1992, this came to me in a flash. Did some research.
Nice.
Contacted Kirk Perone of Juice Club. At the time it was Juice Club. Then it became Jamba Juice. So he was on his third location. Him and I talked. He shot me a letter. So I was making things happen, moving in that direction, putting everything I could, time and attention, life, kids, marriage, all that stuff. get to that point, and it didn't happen. Got there, got the loan from the bank twice, and it didn't happen. And that was a huge, huge thing for me to step back. I could do two things: get divorced and open a restaurant, or just get divorced. You know, there was no doing both, and and I knew that the planets were aligned in a certain way for me. My credit score was perfect. I had a business making money, so I didn't need to take it out of the restaurant. All these things were aligned perfectly, and for me to step back and not do it. And then I realized something down the line, that not all goals are meant to be attained. Not all of them are meant to be attained or meant to be pursued for you to become the person you're supposed to be for the thing that's waiting for you down the line. If you have that kind of faith, nothing can really break you, I believe.
No, that's a beautiful realization. What you just said, these are all, it seems they're almost common to the human awakening evolution, you know. What you just realized there is said by masters, or what you just expressed there, realized a long time ago perhaps, like Shiva and Krishna and Jesus and Buddha, these guys, they are continually presented with concepts of creating amazing things, but they don't say yes to all of them.
Right. And there's some power in that.
There's realizing there's an unlimited. Whenever people say you only get these chances once in a lifetime, that is a bunch of BS. It's not true. You know, you have continuals, multiple synchronous opportunities from the 0 point, from the everlasting source of creating anything you want continuously. Now that's abundance. Feel the difference?
You can feel the difference. It's unfortunate we're conditioned to believe that everything ends quickly. So.
Yep. I missed my shot at being an NFL star, whatever it is, right?
Whatever it is.
Or I didn't, or that girl that you felt this reverberation with, and you didn't do anything about it. You know, but that's not true. I want to offer people that listen to this, these presentations, being present for you. The universe presents. The old way it used to be said, God proposes, man disposes. Meaning God's always trying to, you know, that's an old saying. God's always proposing, hey, how about this, how about this, how about this, how about this, how about this? Because the 0 point, all around us, meaning unlimited opportunity and abundance, how could there not be? Look at the sun. Is there any dark side to the sun?
Right.
Not last time I checked. Is there any point on the sun that's not boiling with unlimited energy? And that's the source of our experience. We are literally children of the sun. The Inca knew that. The word Inca means golden shining child of the sun. Okay. The Egyptians knew that. Ra, it's about the sun. It's not worshiping the sun, but it is knowing that the energy that makes the sun is like a pinhole of energy coming through from the unlimited dimension.
Okay.
In 3, 4, 5, 6, 7D.
Okay.
And so that's cool to abide in that, to know. So when opportunities come, it's said by Patanjali too in the Yoga Sutras. He was a clinical almost, just writing down scientifically, this is how yoga works. Not just the physical yoga, that's the first step, you know. Okay. And he just catalogs the actual powers, if you will, or the spiritual physics of, if you merge with a sound, for instance, which happens when you smoke pot and you're 16 and 17 and listening to Dark Side of the Moon with Pink Floyd.
For the first time, right.
For the first time. You're like going, wow, you know, what's that sound? But Patanjali will talk about when you merge with a sound, when you really hear it, that opens certain powers, you know? You can actually do certain things. But anyway, he talks also about whatever I was talking about, which I forgot, and that's totally okay.
I love that.
It's not,
I love being lost. I tell everybody you have to allow yourself to be lost and enjoy being lost once in a while. You have to. I love it.
I work with clients. I work with clients a lot, and I go, no, it's not a sign of Alzheimer's. It's a sign of you merging into the nothing and the everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You have moments of Eckhart Tolle, I've watched him do it, sit in front of a whole pile of people And for 3 minutes, he just sits there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And after a while, you realize he's got nothing. He's got nothing.
He's just eyeballing the crowd. What can I come up with right now? Well, I know I can be quiet.
No, no, but he actually says it. On this one in India, I watched the video of it. And he very gently, just after 3 minutes, which is an eternity in front of a crowd,
Okay.
even for him. And I play with it too. And if you're just authentic, it's beautiful. But he actually starts saying, he goes, I have nothing to say. I mean, that's the only thing he can come up with.
Oh,
right?
dude.
Right?
That's awesome.
One of the signs of the new paradigm, I say it this way, as a kind of because it's fun to, little sayings can shock people into a little paying attention. I call it, God is ignorant.
Okay.
Now that's going to get people to go, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But ignorance means simply not knowing. The root of that word means not to know. It's not the pejorative putting people down or, well, you ignorant. We're not doing that.
Okay.
The original meaning of that means you don't know yet. You're agnostic. The true knowers come from agnostics. And the way the Zen people will say that, if you bring your cup full to me, like there's a teaching of the master when he pours tea for the student.
Right,
He keeps pouring it. And finally the student goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he says, if you come to me with a full cup, how can I give you anything? That's the same thing as God is ignorant. Or I am on a need not to know basis.
That's true. There's a lot of shit that I couldn't handle. I mean, I couldn't handle Santa Claus not being real when I was 6. I couldn't handle that. We all have to be at a certain level, and then all of a sudden you realize that, and then you go, well, I'm kind of glad I know, but it kind of sucks. But you can't unknow it, so now I got to take this new information, and you didn't now times that by the next 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And if you are honestly trying to move in a direction, and I got off a path, I was sucked into it too, just like everybody else. And you look around you and you go, this is drama. And we watch drama. And we live our lives in drama. And we go to drink so we can have more drama. Or whatever it is. And I'm so glad that I was so introverted enough not to get involved in that aspect of going out. I was into dancing. I was into celebrating. Now, I'm in ayahuasca. And then for the last 4 or 5 years now, it's been calling me.
That's an interesting topic. Yeah, I was standing in an airport in Atlanta in 2005 or 6, and there was a National Geographic Adventure magazine. I guess one of their, looks like National Geographic, but it's for the adventurer people more than the traditional one. But I looked at it, and had a picture of these beautiful antelope slot canyons in Antelope, Arizona. These amazing shapes. Yeah. And something in my little voice of God, I call it God, source, my angels, my helpers, call it your intuition, call it your higher self, doesn't matter, who cares what we call it, says, get the magazine. And then my ego, rational mind goes, no. I know the lady who owns that. I'm not interested in it. It says like Canyon Lands of the Southwest or something. I don't need that. I've been there. I don't need the pictures. And then it goes more strong and says, no, get the magazine. And I've made a promise about a month before. Whenever you make a promise to the universe, you go, okay, I'm ready for my next step, right? The universe is always listening because it's always around you. So I said, I did make that promise. So it says, get the magazine. I open it up, and it says, my journey to hell and back with Peruvian shamans. The center story. And I know instantly right then, standing in the airport, and I tell Joy, I go, honey, I think I'm going to visit hell in the Amazon. I know.
This is back in 2005, you said?
Yeah, 2005.
Wow.
2006. not written off, but I kind of said I did some psychedelics in college. But even then, I found a Harvard study, you know, with Dr. Leary and Dr. Richard Alpert, who became Ram Dass, when they first did varieties of psychedelic experience with CIA-funded research. No. Oh, yeah. The CIA funded, it's well known now, but at the time, of course, not, you know. They gave money to a bunch of schools, universities across the country to fund LSD research on the student bodies, you know. Okay. And so these guys were both read their case studies, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm 19 years old, so I would organize with my friends. We'd go out in the woods, and I'd have one designated guy who wouldn't do it. You're driving. We're in nature. And I ran it like a shamanic circle. Even I had no clue.
So you were careful before you even knew to be careful. Wow.
Yeah.
You respected it that much instantly, instinctively.
I think I had an awakening when I was 19 where I had a Kundalini awakening that just happened one night from looking at yoga positions, and my body wanted to do them, and when I did them I had these energies happen in my body that were undeniable to my young scientific mind that was going down the science as well. And that started it, you know. But
wow.
Yeah,
at
so
19 you've been on this path then.
Yeah, that's when it first happened. Yeah, and I'm kind of, you know, like around your age nowadays.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just going to say, you've obviously been on the journey a lot longer than I have, because, like I said, I'm not the same guy I was back in 2010. I'm not even my friends say I'm not the same person. I mean, yeah, I'm the same, but I'm not the same person. My values have shifted.
Right.
I make no fucking money. I mean, you know, and don't get me wrong, it pains me that I can't bring it in like I used to, but it'll come. It's just something's happening here. I don't know why. Don't ask me why I reach out to guys like you and say, hey man, let's Skype, because we can, and it's a shame not to.
I love it. And I want to say that thing about the money passage. I sat in the airport, you know, I was driving limos for a while, and with my MBA and my broken heart, you know. Is what in my poetry, I hate the word poetry, but in my writings, you know. Sure. Here I sit in my fucking taxi with my MBA and my broken heart. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't doing with a beautiful girl in the back who's like, we're totally connecting, and there's my other timeline. She's a consultant with American Express, and so are all my friends doing hedge funds in this. And what the fuck am I doing here, you know? But I have to tell you, I'm not promoting struggleology. I'm not promoting all that. But there seems to be some kind of, when you step away from the trajectory of the unconscious trajectory to so you're kind of getting more conscious, there seems to be episodes of sort of chastisement or cleaning, you could call it. You're getting rid of some of the extraneous stuff. You're getting leaner and cleaner. You're always taken care of. Here's the thing. Whenever I would bitch at God in the universe, if I bitched enough, then he's leave it on the machine, you know. But if I really bitched a lot, I'd get a direct response. And that would be, hey, in my case, it would be like, Tobias, do you have a car? Yes. Have you always had a car? Yes. Do you have your guitars? Yes. Have you always had your? Yes. Do you have a place to live? Yes. Do you get food? Shut up! You're fine!
Isn't that funny if everybody would wake up in the morning and just say that shit to themselves before they left for the day? Yeah, I'm going to give you a story about the universe. You know, my water heater was going last year. Maybe about 8 months ago. It was taking a shit. So for the 4 months prior to it, really getting bad, I had to drain it. Then I had to let it go again. Then I had to kick it again. It was like this. And I've just been really focusing on creating and being grateful. And these numbers have been following me, which I've found what the meaning are, have been guiding me along. So I'm like, cool. Out of the blue, I get something in the mail. If you call this number, maybe we can check out your house and see if qualify to get some stuff done. You know, maybe insulation. Turns out they replaced my water heater and my furnace, and they insulated my entire house. It cost me a nickel. And I wasn't sitting there going, oh, look what I got away with. I was like, well, there you go. Thank you very much. Completely and totally okay with accepting it and appreciating it. You know what I mean? Giving myself the permission to appreciate the shit out of it. So there you go.
Just feel it, and feel it now again. As you say it, I enjoy hearing that beautiful miracle, that support, that's, yeah, we feel it in our heart and our solar plexus, and it's beautiful.
That's right, because every time I see him, I'm like, oh yeah, somebody's got their eye on me. It's all good. It's all good. You know, and when something bad happens, it's an opportunity for me to use what I've just learned.
Yeah. It's I call it an exacting process, which I'm very grateful for. I can't fool myself. It's perfectly, every photon, every conscious quantum, let's make some shit up right now. Every quanta, yeah, right? Every quanta of consciousness. We're going beyond photons here now, right? It's beyond photons. Right. A quanta of consciousness. What is that? I just feel it. Like a tiny speck of consciousness that actually creates the whole, the big consciousness divides itself into let's make this shit up. One quanta of consciousness creates 1 trillion photons. We just made that up.
Okay.
But it's a good approximation as anything else until someone comes along with something better. Right? Yeah. All made up. Einstein's having a good time, right? He's going, yeah, that's it. We're all just making up models. M&Ms, we're making up models. They're all modeling something that's the unnameable, unshameable, unblameable, untamable, something.
Something. I have to ask you, do you know anything about Ray Kurzweil at all?
I do, in transhumanism.
Right.
But before we leave ayahuasca, I want to say, so I stood, and I knew I'd be going to the jungle, and I had kind of sworn off psychedelia, or not sworn off, but I felt like I did it LSD maybe 10 times, so mushrooms a few times. I never did DMT. So it was the farthest thing from my mind. And then all of a sudden we're going to the jungle to do ayahuasca. And she told me in the second ceremony I ever did, she showed me, I'm going to spread all over the planet. I'm going to go to Europe mainly, in North America and Australia and places like that. The African medicine, Ibogaine, is going to be her twin sister. They're going to both really help the planet. And she showed me that the second ceremony. And I was like blown away. I'm like, wow. And had an amazing set of ceremonies, the whole spectrum. And anyway, I just wanted to say that. So she's a true medicine, and people know when they're being called. You want to do the set and the setting correctly.
That's the
key. Which doesn't mean that you have to go to Shipibo territory in the Amazonian jungle, but if that's what you want to honor and do that, great. But there's going to be, as it grows, there's going to be, quote, not such good shamans, and some that are completely there just to give you the experience for your soul and keep a safe space. And that can happen in Hawaii, that can happen in the Amazon, in Ecuador, in Venezuela, in Peru and Brazil and Amsterdam and South Africa and Australia. You just got to ask for it for yourself. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I mean, last April I was about to do it, Tobias, but, money became an issue and my priorities had to be shifted. And that's fine. I'm not going to force anything to happen.
Right.
So when the things start to align themselves, I'll know. I'll keep you in the loop. But how many sessions have you had since then?
I'm not a massive session doer, probably around 20.
Oh, that's all?
Well, it's over, 7 years or so. And
still a lot.
Yeah, and she's a real being. I asked her in one ceremony, I said, were you ever human? And no one ever thinks to ask this stuff, but it popped out into my head.
Nice.
And I saw something she shared with me as a human that lived in the Amazon and on the Altiplano, the high plains of Peru, where like Lake Titicaca and Pumapunku and these high Altiplano ruins are in Bolivia border there. And she showed me, my sense of it was, humbly I say, a new model of enlightenment. Feel this. What we have sort of just one model of enlightenment, which is sort of the Buddhist, Hindu, Vedanta, yogic model. the Advaita, the Buddhist, the Nirvana, the Tibetan Padma, where you merge through this Kundalini experience and the oneness and the ego dissolves through meditation techniques or Zen technique. Well, what if there's 100 other ways of doing it? And she showed me one where she said, I merged with the jungle. I merged with all the plant life, the earth itself. I didn't go up into my, the mental, the Kundalini raising. Instead of raising the Kundalini, she said, I merged with all of it. I became one with nature and space-time, earth and all the plants. And it was so that offered a whole new perspective. Wow. And then after that, Pele chimed in and said, well, that's how I did it too. The woman Pele is a real being who became an ascended goddess in the Hawaiian Islands that we've met, that, we go to the volcano there. She's a real being. There's many Hawaiian stories of her manifesting a body just like angels do, or Jesus did for Paul on the road, or whatever. So I'm interested at this time in loosening the grip on this awakening for people, because not everyone's attracted to 30 years of meditation, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. There's got to be other ways. There's got to be through the body, through the heart, through the emotions, through through strict technique, through just love, through plants merging, through whatever.
Well, you're talking about plants merging. When I was talking about Ray Kurzweil, I was going to say that I believe that Kurzweil's whole philosophy is everything getting smaller and smaller, and the computer is going to be as small as the size of a blood cell. Well, I think that psychedelics is going to play a huge role in this entire new species, if you will. I believe that psychedelics right now are, is the bridge between us and connecting with spirit.
Yeah. They are ayahuasca is for sure. It's I say it, there's 1,000 ways to say it. You talk to shamans that have done thousands of ceremonies, they're very respectful and they don't think they know it. They know a little bit about potential things that likely can happen for people, but they don't know all of it. It's always fresh and new. But it felt also, she told me in one of the first ceremonies, she said, I asked not her, I went to God's source and I said, who is ayahuasca? Let me read her chart. Okay. Can I have the file on ayahuasca?
All right.
In the other dimensions, the Akashic records maybe, if you will, or the Book of Life.
Yeah, I've heard somebody talking about that after a DMT trip, specifically that.
The Akashic records?
Like all information, everything available.
Well, that's a real place. It's been called the Book of Life by the religionists, Christians and so forth, the Muslims. It's called the Akashic records, the Akasha. Akasha is this fine ether. It literally means like fine ether, like we talked about. I made up quantum consciousness. That's kind of Akasha.
Okay.
And in the Akasha, all things that ever happen or are thought of, any movement of energy or consciousness are recorded permanently in the Akasha. So the Akashic records you can tap into at a certain point. I do it. I can't wait for that to happen. It's going to happen in its own good time. I believe at my unfolding of my heart. I guess you could say if there's a chakra that I'm, mastering, it's definitely my heart. And I'm trying to get real with me, to find my voice, to peel away the layer of onions that is I when I see myself talking on the internet, and trying to convey a message the best I can. And I'm overcoming stuttering, overcoming all these obstacles in my mind of how I think I'm perceived or how I'm accepted, getting past the bullshit that I created. I think I'm really doing that naturally, and I think that it's happening. I can feel it, and it's happening all the time because my kids are having their things, and I'm there. Unlike any other parent I've ever seen, even my own, I'm literally there. Like, oh yeah, I remember being 18, and I remember this, and I know exactly what you're going through, and I give them that perspective, and it seems to be working. Because it's real. It's coming from here, it's from my heart. Not here. Not what I think. Not what I think you should do. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, but I'm not going to force you to change it. You're going to have to deal with that then if you're going to go down that road. It's up to you. Yeah. That's a new model for parenting right there. that you're embodying in your body and your decision. That's beautiful. I'm inspired by what you just said.
Thanks,
I can feel, yeah, it's a new model or a more expanded model of parenting.
I'm still working with it. Kids feel like they have to hide. And, you know,
Yeah.
being two different dynamic parents, you know, she's a different type of person than I am. She's in a different type of
Yeah.
mindset than I am. Right, wrong, or
Yeah.
indifferent. We're different. We're yin and you're yang, and that's perfect
Right.
because it couldn't happen under the same household. It wouldn't work.
Mm.
It had to be a set for these kids to get that and see that and really see it, rather than being like robots.
Now that's another good point. The new parenting, the old model is not the norm anymore. Like 63% or something of all households are not mom and dad and the kids together.
Right.
It's just not how it works anymore. The majority is not that.
Right.
So we still self-punish a little bit or a lot in our society that we should do it the old way, that mommy knows, daddy knows best from the 60s or so. It's just over. It's not how it's happening. Not doing it that way. But what you just said was another one. To accept that the yin and yang comes together and we create children, but for us to stay together for 20, 30, 40 years is just not how it's going to happen. And it's in fact an enricher in the transition process. It needs to be that way. The child needs to see it because the child is not going to be lied to. The child is going to see this and mom and dad, and you can always say it to them. I watch it with Joy's kids and her grandkids. I say, well, what if you can tell them, there's always a way to tell the truth that they just go, oh, that makes sense. Like, okay, mom and dad are getting divorced, and you can say stuff in the moment of, look, we still, you know, we're going to be angry at each other, we're going to yell and scream, and it doesn't mean we don't love you guys, it's not you guys' fault. Look, you know, we're going to be upset, we're human, this is how humans work, it'll be okay, but, you know, we're going to be angry at each other for a while, but we all both want the best for you. Kids will go, makes sense to me. I'm going to school. See you later, Dad.
That's pretty much how it was. That was pretty much how it was. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, games aside that were played,
Right.
when it came to the kids, man, that's exactly how we handled that. And I think that you're absolutely right. The reality of it is that 63%, and it's probably going to keep on increasing, kids grow up with two separate people. And I remember marrying my wife, and I told my kids as we were growing up, I would rather be in two separate households that are happy rather than one unhappy household. And I'm going to tell you something, man. My daughter asked me 2 or 3 years later, she was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, she said, Dad, why'd you and Mom, get divorced? No, it was 10, because 12 she figured it out. She goes, why'd you guys get married in the first place? I said, well, I think the main thing is that we got divorced so she could meet Ross, the man she's with right now. That's a beautiful relationship, man. It's hard to find somebody that, he could have been a dick. He could have been an asshole. I would have to deal with him. The universe loves me there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it's making her happy. And if I love her, if you loved her at one time, you'd want her to be happy regardless of who she's happy with. That's real love. That's honest. It may not be my heart, may not be my dick, but it's certainly going to be the heart, the real thing. The reality of it is that on my deathbed, I'm not going to go, man, that bitch went with that dude. No, I'm going to be like, I'm happy I was able to at least make somebody happy for a little while.
I love that. I love that. I've always felt that way. With people. Like, I loved you once. How can I completely deny that was there?
Right.
Even if we had shit get stirred up, and now we're going, fuck you and fuck you too for a while, right? Which happens, right?
You have to.
But, yeah, you go through it.
If you have to disagree,
that,
otherwise you're not connected.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Be willing to walk through that. That's so beautiful what you're saying. I've always resonated that way. I want the best for you. How could you not? If you want to hurt someone and you pray darkness on them and trouble, what kind of person are you? What the hell is that?
Well, those are the trolls that troll around on the internet making rude statements about your belief systems because theirs is so great. You go to their channel and they don't have anybody subscribed and they got 2 videos. Neither one of them make any sense.
I like that.
That's what you're putting out in the universe. And this is who you really are. That. Consider the source. I always consider the source.
Yes, exactly. I do that too. I don't get a lot of hate mail anymore because I kind of felt like I was done with it, But you need to go through that as well. When you start expressing more of who you really are instead of what you were programmed to be or, what you were conditioned to be, and all of a sudden, like you're doing, and I can really feel it with you, you're saying, That's it. I'm going to start finding me in my voice. And that stuttering thing is almost gone. It'll be completely gone. It's a non-issue when you're finding your voice. Because it's your voice.
Yes.
That's why people would sing and they would be able to get... Stuttering is a complete non-issue. The guy Mel Tillis, the country star, horrible stuttering problem.
Oh, yeah?
And when he would sing, it would be like
Gone.
perfect.
Yeah, it was gone.
You know? Gone.
I loved him.
Gone.
He was endearing.
Yeah, he was sweet. It was beautiful. Oh, I love that. And then the respect as humans, you know?
You know, this is 2004 when this all started to unfold, and we were together for 13 years. So it was a great, awesome, God bless. Most people don't ever get that. So It was awesome. But that part she never texted. So when I texted her, she took it offensively, and I didn't mean to, but I just didn't want to hear your voice. That's where I was then. It took me about 3 years to actually stop with this chatter and really be 100% appreciative of everything I had and love her unconditionally and be happy, be genuinely happy. You know, that energy's got to go somewhere, and my only hope is for the happiness of them two, because dating in your 40s is fucked up. For them, I hope it works out. I do.
That's a great line right there. You could run a whole blog on just dating in your 40s is fucked up, and you'd have thousands of subscribers. People would love to hear about
No kidding, right? Just go on dates and talk about them. I've been there.
Yeah, there you go.
No, you said the three big ones: the cancer, the bankruptcy, and the divorce. Right? You talk about that often. Now you said 2 out of the 3. May I ask what they are?
Well, I wasn't brave enough to do the cancer. The way I write it in my book and listening to the sun, I gave myself permission to write a book where I had no marketing no demographics. I just gave myself carte blanche. Just write whatever you want and just let it absolute truthful.
I love the title too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Spirit told me that 2 weeks before it was published. Said this is what it's going to be called. You know. So
it reminds me of the Doors song, "Waiting for the Sun." Just some reason
I never thought of that.
Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting, 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 waiting. Waiting for you to hear my song. Waiting for you to come along. Waiting for you to tell me what went wrong. This is the strangest life I've ever known.
That's so obvious. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. I did not think of that.
Volume 2, Waiting for the Sun.
Waiting for the sun, yeah. Oh, I never thought of it. And I totally relate to Jim Morrison. We're both Sagittarians, kind of iconoclastic, willing to, push the boundaries a little bit. And actually when I sing, when I'm doing those songs, when I do my acoustic kind of songs, but if I do the heavier band songs, that's what people say. They go, that's Jim Morrison's voice. But,
awesome.
Yeah. Not just like him, but it's that vein,
Where it's coming from.
That's interesting.
I just started fooling around with music myself. You've been playing for a while, obviously. I just started playing with music. I got this thing here, right? Connected to Ignite software, and I made my own fucking Christmas song this year, and I put it out there, put it out to the world to see. So If you want to hear it, it's on that blog there, and it's really rough. It's an orchestrated version, but it came to me, and I went with it. And I thought, you know,
Awesome.
yeah, 2 weeks. I said, Kara, you want to make a Christmas song? Sure. She didn't get on it. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I did it myself, and it just came to me, and I just started fucking with it and fooling around. I got like 9 layers of different stuff on it, and I let it out there. I told her boyfriend, John, who's an amazing guitarist, and he's got a lot to offer. He's literally like starting to open up, you know. He's really starting to come about. So there you go. I said, this is how you do it. You put it out there. Who gives a fuck if you make any money? Just do it, because the next thing is going to be even more better than this one. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You got to fail.
How did it feel?
Yeah.
How did it feel for you to do the song? How were you feeling while you were making it? And
It was fun. It was like piecing a puzzle together. That's what it was. It was piecing a puzzle together. And all of a sudden, you know, these like lyrics come to me. So we got a lot of fun with that. Then all of a sudden I was tying it up, and another fucking song came to me. I'm like, oh crap. Well, I don't want to do another whole new song, so I'll just piece it together over here. Cause I'm going to finish this one because my muse wanted me to take me on another journey. I'm like, get back over here. We're going to do this. Finish this. I don't care how ugly it is. And put it out there. And then, you know, I put a nice little pretty picture there, and there you are. Done. Next year, it's going to be better.
This is how it happens, you know. The inspiritation, as I call it. Like we spoke about Jim Morrison. Well, Jim, nobody understood when he told his family, oh, I'm a singer. They were like dumbfounded. They were like, you couldn't even sing in school. You never sang in the choir.
Even his dad says to never really had a voice. Well, to him, Bing Crosby was the voice, or Frank Sinatra was the voice.
Right, I know. And that's so old school. See, this is the unseen. When Jesus talks about a thief in the night, you know, well, what the heck is that? That spirit or inspiration or God comes as a thief in the night. Unseen, unnoticed by the ego mind. The programmed ego mind, that's why it comes through people that are innocent, that appear as nothing to the world often, you know. We appear, true mastery is not noticed by egos. Then it's noticed.
True. That's very, very, very true.
Afterwards. It can't notice them ahead of time. Rabindranath Tagore, the famous, very famous Bengali poet who got a Nobel Prize, but he was listening to his own inner voice, and he wrote, and he got skewered by all the critics, you know, until he got the Nobel Prize. Then they all wanted to come and make his book.
And putting it out there. Galactic Scholar Consciousness is another channel of mine where you'll probably find a lot of your stuff on, because I put a lot of stuff there. Joe Rogan, Graham Hancock, you know, all the greats. You know, Carl Sagan, Ernest McKenna, of course. Goes through that same thing now. It's first it's like, you know, ridiculed and made fun of, and then it's it's vehemently argued and fought against, and then it's eventually accepted as self-evident.
Right, it's actually going, I do it this way, going, first people are just calling you an idiot, and then they want to attack you, and then finally they go, oh, I knew that all along. Right.
Johnny come lately.
But that's how the fearful ego mind works. You know, and so at this time on Earth, we're having a mass potentiality for. I'm blown away with people waking up all over the world. You know, I have clients. I do personal soul counseling with people. I don't know what to call it. That's such a weird name for it, but that's what it's called at the moment. But I get people from all over the world that are. Oh, I thought I was a housewife and a lawyer, and I was living in this little gated community in Houston, Texas, and all of a sudden. I'm at the grocery store and I go blank, and I'm just starting to feel all this love for everything around me, and I can't remember my name.
Wow, that's fucking trippy.
And then they'll go, am I going crazy? And I go, no, you're not. You come to the right place, right? You're looking for healing, you come to the right place. Elvis, right? and a woman in Australia, God bless you, Katie, if you ever hear this. And I'm so inspired by it. She's construction, I think their family does, and down to earth, having babies. And she said, Tobias, I'm having a Hindu goddess show up in my house. I think my family thinks I'm crazy. My husband is scared. What's going on? And this is the time on earth when there's a loosening of the ties that bind. There's a loosening of consciousness being set free. And my hope and my heart feels for making this not as so scary a process, because it's very difficult when you've only been programmed one way. In the old native way, if you kind of went schizophrenic a little bit or started talking to spirits and stuff, the native shaman, they would just go, oh, he's just having a shamana, he's talking to the spirits, it's cool. Nowadays, we would label you schizophrenic and pump you full of drugs and try to shut you up,
Oh, absolutely.
And so we need to have a model for people that when you're feeling this soul awakening, that it's okay, that it's not the end of the world, and pharmaceuticals are not the way to go. You need to have a space that allows for this creative, like people that have Asperger's syndrome, or we may have to syndromize stuff. Let's shut up. That's stupid. Don't label everything. It's just a human being sensing things,
Yeah.
Vincent Van Gogh would have been committed. You know what I'm saying? Artists tend to feel things,
Right.
And we made feeling things wrong. Well, how can the heart survive or thrive in a place if we try to make that wrong, So one of the biggest things I teach is, or I'm interested in sharing, because it happened to me, is without the emotions finding a rightful, healthy place, you can never have a healthy human being. And it's actually more important than the mind, I was just watching a thing on TV. They used to have a Genesis sperm bank back in the 80s or 70s or something, and they had to shut it down. But we were so fixated on, we just need intelligence for our kids, and somehow that'll make them okay, Everybody wanted a Nobel Prize or an Olympic athlete, or you know what I'm saying? That's the sperm we want, for the in vitro. And it turns out, of course, ridiculous with those kids, they have problems, We need to have a new model that I call the full spectrum human, which is where we include the physical, the emotional, all of it. It sounds simple when you say it, duh, but we're still compartmentalizing kids into, oh, you're really good at, sports or physicality, or you're really good at mental stuff, or, no. Da Vinci was hitting on it, and way back, before that, obviously in the ancient cultures, you are the whole human being. The Vitruvian Man inside that thing, he's beautiful, and it's Leonardo's head on him. It's his self-portrait, and he's physical, and he's sexual, and he's emotional, and he's mental, and he's intellectual, and he's spiritual, and it's just being the full spectrum human. And that's the new model I see on Earth that we are headed towards, and there's lots of purging to get there because we've had these old ways of labeling and compartmentalizing.
Well,
people.
we're also born into bondage, man. The monetary system. And unfortunately, I'm stuck in it. We're stuck in it. I'm still trying to figure it out, but, thanks to whoever is checking me out, watching over me, there's an angel in my life, and it was brought to me for a reason. I'm the luckiest son of a gun alive right now, and I'm grateful. But and now that gives me an opportunity to push even harder.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I went through, when I stood there in the parking lot of a company that a friend of mine were running that was even within the consciousness field. We would go to Southwest Gas and Arizona Public Service, electrical big companies, and we would do these stress tests, and then we would basically offer our solution, which was this method of releasing energies inside you so the pressure didn't build up, emotions and so forth. But even that I had enough of, and I stood in the parking lot after lunch one day and said, I'm done. I'm not doing shit. I'm not doing anything anymore that I don't really want to do. And my friend, who I just met with today, actually, this is like 25 years later, he said, I totally agreed with you, because he's on the path too, but I also knew the business was over.
Well, there you go. You got that going for you. helps the decision-making process.
And somehow I survived. Now my ex-wife, it goes scary for her or whatever, however she would say it. But she, divorce had to happen. And God bless everybody, not judgment, although I went through fear and anger, about that. And all you got to trust the process, because for real healing, trying to reach for the golden apple too soon, trying not to process your feelings is bullshit, because they'll come back and bite you. They'll sit there in your liver hiding behind your left kidney, and they come back and flare up when you least expect it. It's got to come out of your energetic system,
I love that. You perform often?
I don't perform with music. I've done it a few times. I haven't the last 10 years. It's on the bucket list. I definitely, it's like it keeps coming back at me. And yeah, I want to do it.
I have this calling to want to go on stage and do some comedy. Hence.
All right. I like that face.
Yes, it just says, because it's just a ride. The Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks, yeah.
And when I, back in 2010, when I started actually looking at things, Bill Hicks was one of those,
Another Sagittarian, by the way.
Yeah, amazing. Sagittarians are amazing in my life right now. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
We can be kamikaze, complete, rebel reformers. Mark Twain, Sagittarian, Billy Idol, Jimi Hendrix, but you can also be an avoider and a bit of a dilettante and a sort of a con artist and all that. If you don't, every sign, I'm not an astrologer. I do it intuitively. But from people I've heard enough over the years, every sign has both the honest, the sort of healthy way of doing that sign and the sign where you're avoiding it, and then it kind of turns not so good on you, So a healthy Sagittarian is shooting for the moon, therefore the arrow. Right. Let's fucking go for it. Let's be idealistic and just, damn the torpedoes. Let's try it. And the unhealthy Sagittarian learns, okay, I kind of manipulate people. I see through them. They can be con artists, all that stuff. Oh, by the way, feel this. This is my understanding of my idea of it. The Earth experience is these 12. You could divide it into 12, but it's just a model. You could divide it into 240 if you wanted to.
Okay.
Make finer nuances. It's all made up. Feel this thought. It's all made up. It's all made up.
And you're right.
Yeah, and the musical scale, the way we do it in the West, made up. The Indians don't do it that way. They have 12 notes or something.
Right.
When you listen to sitar, it's a whole different thing.
You want to hear something weird? Is that I was working on getting some internet shit done, right? And I connected with a guy who lived with Ravi Shankar for 10 years.
Really? Ravi Shankar.
Yeah.
Really?
He lived with him for 10 years. He traveled with him and his daughter. And here I'm having this 1 degree of separation, because of the internet.
Wow.
And I think this awakening you're talking about is because of this particular wonderful gift that is the internet.
Let's appreciate technology let's have a silent or a wild, crazy-ass moment for, fuck yeah, thank you for the internet. I love the internet.
I tell my kids, I don't know how the hell you can ever get an F. You got fucking Google.
That's right.
How does that ever happen? You could get an F. I mean, I got my Fs, but I don't know. I personally would have never gotten an F had I had fucking Google.
Search bar. I mean, yeah, exactly. I love it. I love that I can go online and hear a little talk yesterday about the fact that they found the same script. I think you might have seen it. I posted it last night on Facebook about Easter Island.
No, I didn't see that.
And in this little place between Pakistan, the Indus Valley, where the original Sanskrit script started, and Easter Island, it's the same exact language. But here's the kicker. If you take stick a rod, go a straight line from this little town in Pakistan where they found these writings, goes right through the center of the earth, it comes out on the other side exactly at Easter Island.
And people get all, and I was there. I was looking into the UFO stuff, and I was going down that path and everything. And it's all, at the end of the day, you'd be an idiot not to think that there's other things going on. And all I can do is say, welcome. Come on in, man. You want some coffee?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in this this awesome machine, this amazing, and I call it my robot. Your body is like a robot. Don't hate on your robot. If you had a robot, if you were game in your house, you open it up, you got this robot, like Bicentennial Man, you came out, you got to talk to it a certain way, otherwise it starts to feel bad. You got to feed it a certain thing. You got to move it around, otherwise it's going to all fuck. That's who you are. You're running the bitch. That the brain tricked you into thinking that's you.
That's a whole new way of saying what you just said is one of the holiest teachings of ancient Vedanta and Buddhism and all that.
Really?
Which is, what you just said. I am not the robot, but I have to honor the robot. If you identify with a robot and think you are the robot, you start getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the whole teaching called attachment and non-attachment with Buddhism, right there.
You do not have a soul. You are a soul.
Mm-hmm.
You have a body. Mm-hmm. And then she asked me what I think about death, and I said, what came to me? I said, well, I guess there's one philosophy is that we're like, our soul is like a drop of water. And infinity and everything is like the ocean. And if you put that drop in the water, does it cease to become the drop? Or does it become more? It can become a drop again if it wants to. It will.
Yeah.
That's what you are. You're that.
Yogananda, who has a movie out right now, one of the first true teachers of Kriya Yoga, or the only one that came to the U.S. He has a beautiful song which is like, I am the way, you are the ocean. I am the way, I become the ocean.
Yes, and I remember hearing a song just like that too. I am not the body. Is playing hide and seek or something like that.
And death are only door by which I pass by, sacred threshold on my journey. Birth and death are hike and seeking game. So smile to me, take my hand, let us say goodbye till we meet again.
I'll have to send that to you. Yeah, it sounds a lot like that. It's beautiful. Chant, right?
Yeah, Hindu chanting, which is strange to Western minds at first, but yeah, I love it. So I'm really enthused and amazed and enjoying the spectacle, enjoying the watcher of the amazing awakening that's like across the planet, I have people in Croatia and Slovenia, and coincidences happen for me now continuously, like I said. So if I talk to someone, contacts me from Croatia, this old Yugoslavia, and they say, well, what if you come here and do the Course of Awakening, this weekend seminar I do? And then I'm not surprised when 2 weeks later someone contacts me independently in the next country over in Slovenia. It's just how it works. It's just, there's a orchestration behind, and you take one layer of the onion. If you just start saying, anybody who listens to this, let me see more of the orchestration, the guidance, the synchronicity, like we talked about in the beginning here with Carl Jung, and all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere. You start seeing how you're guided, how you're guiding yourself, how we're all connected. All that stuff starts becoming more real, and
discernment definitely becomes a lot more apparent for me. The power of discernment. Feeling the discernment, I should say.
How do you mean?
Knowing who not to hang out with.
Yeah, that's good. I get that. Yeah.
Even though I love them unconditionally, if they call me up and ask me to do something, if it's in my power, I say yes, but I don't seek it. And I have to be like that. I can't just go running out to my family members. There's a lot of us seeking a connection because we came out of the same vagina.
See, you're full of good one-liners today. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Just because you come out of the same vagina doesn't make you total star brother. That's right. You don't know me. Right. Right? It's true. Right. That's a good one for your stand-up, by the way. You got to do something with it.
Oh, yeah. I've got some stuff.
Feel the loosening of the prison.
Yeah.
Parenting, money, all of it, every arena is being upgraded. When we hear, someone like a David Icke, who, good guy doing his work, in my opinion.
He's great guy. He's doing it. Some stuff I can't resonate with. most of the stuff he says, especially his early stuff, still poignant.
Yeah, and but when someone is pointing out, yes, the medical profession, it's all bad, it's all backwards. But the beauty of that, the flip side of that is, it's all being upgraded, because once you start seeing that this is no longer functional, whether it's the way we do politics or medicine or relationships or parenting or economics or anything, the body, the heart, love, all of it, we're all going. That's why in the back of my book I said, what if almost, I put almost in a little word, everything you've been told is wrong?
Yeah, how do you deal with that?
And from the old paradigm, that's true, because when you're upgrading, when you go from Newtonian mechanics to Einstein frickin' liquid universe, everything before is wrong.
You might as well empty your cup now.
Yes, exactly. It's like, I'm done, we're not doing that.
You might as well just say, you know what, everything that I believe is fucked up. All right, let's start this again. Kindergarten, let's go. I'm 49, let's go. That's exactly right.
Maybe, and in fact, you know what? The Great Pyramid, that's Great Pyramid in Giza that has the sarcophagus. It's not a sarcophagus. It's an initiation chamber. And that's what Jesus talked about, being born again. See, we're going to see it with whole new eyes. We're going to see it like a rebirth of, we used to only live one lifetime in the same robot, same body. When you reach the level of the awakening you had 4 years ago, you would have died physically. But see, at this time, we're doing several upgrades, several versions, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, in the same body. This is what's changed. This is why people are doing divorces so much more, because they changed. This is why we're going through a bankruptcy, because that's a cleaning of the old way you used to do money.
Also letting go of the stigma of just doing it. Like, fuck it. It'll help. Fuck it. Do it.
That's right. That's why people who are afraid to, like cattle, stand. If cattle have been inside it could be a 10-acre pasture. You can make it as big as you want. But if there's been a gate on it that they've gone up to and they've never been allowed to go out of, if you open that gate, there's your freedom. The cattle are going to stand there and the legs are going to shake.
Well, even now, Tobias, I mean, people are not going to disconnect their television sets yet. They're just not going to do it. They just keep getting bigger TV than tinier houses. That's the paradigm we are living in. We are living big TVs and tiny houses.
That's great. I like that one.
And they're better fucking TVs than ever before. They have to. They're not going to let go of that right away. And right now, they can literally just shut that bitch off, just have an internet connection, and watch whatever they want. But they can't, because you're right. They're conditioned. I was conditioned. I was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago. I took off cable. I got sick and tired of my kids watching fucking Disney Channel all the time. I'm sick of it. I'm done. I said, you want to watch something? We'll pull up YouTube. We'll pull up something. We'll figure it out. And we did. I can watch any movie I want. It's right, wrong, or different. I can. So it's there. I'm going to do it. And whether you like it or not, you're going to look at me in disgust. Fuck you. Go pay your $3. Now I look at you in disgust.
Yeah.
Culture is not your friend, just like Terrence McKenna said. Culture is not your friend, and this is TV.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of our culture, isn't it?
It's still, we're still, although it's encouraging news, I think David Wilcock mentioned this, who is another, there's a couple of people that I really like and resonate with. He's one of them. And where he talked about actual statistics like the Nielsen's, these people, that need to actually have real numbers because they're getting paid by advertisers. The CNN and Fox News viewership is dismal. Mainstream news is just like, it's like a lead balloon in
because
actual
we see
viewership.
Through it. It's just transparent as hell, especially after what they did to Ron Paul. If you can't fucking see what the media is doing after that, then you're a fucking idiot. Go have a beer. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're free to do what they tell you, I guess. That's what the joke is.
Even television, we're starting to go more and more like it's over. CBS News and Walter Cronkite. Ted Turner started that destruction of that when he started CNN. But all that's going off. It's literally a non-issue. The vast majority, if you look at actual numbers of people, get their information from other sources. It's over. It's an illusion, a paper tiger. It's not even real anymore.
I think what's going to happen is what I'm doing, is even my friend who is in a paradigm of drinking and smoking and watching TV, and when I send her an awesome ass video to watch, it's 6 minutes too long. You know, I'm not going to give up on her. Whoever's within my sphere of love and attention will get Bob's video prescriptions from time to time. That's what I call it. You're going to get Bobby's video prescriptions. Sweet. Here you go. Here's an Elliot Hulse. This will talk to you. I can't say it as well as this particular person can, so why should I regurgitate it? Here it is. It's right there. You know.
Feel the freedom of the true democracy of power to the people, the internet. Now, I happen to know who Elliot Hulse is, and a guy like that could never get a platform unless there was YouTube.
He even said
and
it
his
himself,
his shit is awesome.
Yes.
He's mixing something real and grounded with something else, and you can tell there's heart. There's even a super bodybuilder guy named Keen. I forget his name. He used to be in prison, and people are hating on him. But I can feel.
C.T. Fletcher.
I don't forget who it is, but it's like every arena now is going to be able to get a platform, and the stuff the stuff that's going to be helpful and resonate is true freedom, it's true choice. That's what we're wanting. That's what America started on. We want true freedom and choice, and it's happening. We're right in the middle now. We're the battle between centralized control and the reawakening of whether that's you growing your own garden or your local little town in Maui goes, we're banning GMOs. You know what I'm saying? What are they going to do?
Awesome.
We're going to ban stuff and say you can't do GMOs in this part. You know, Colorado says that's it. We're legalizing marijuana. And the Fed, you know, are there states right or not? You know, this is where we're at. And there's enough of a, and that's my interest too. I'm more interested in the personal empowerment, the personal awakening, the personal healing, because that's my job. Now someone else is doing, you know, we all have different attractions, and we're all part of those that want this awakening. It's really like coming very quickly. And the fear illusion of I can't step out of that gate because I was one of the cattle, you know. You're doing it. I mean, I feel just talking to you and you're telling me you're obviously doing your shift.
Right.
And they're beautiful for each person. They're and it's awesome. I love it at this point. We're finally being set free to start singing your song, doing your stuff, do your stand-up, do your voice. And people go, well, I could never be like that. There's only going to be so many people that can be self-help, help other people. No, there's an unlimited amount of niches, and instead of the sneeches, unlimited amount of 0 point potential. Right now, where everyone is sitting, you, me, and anyone who ever hears this, where you're sitting right now, there's an unlimited amount of points in space. Imagine fractal points in space. How many points are there in space? There's trillions just around your little field where you are.
Okay.
Each one of those points is an effervescing, eternal fountain to unlimited sources of energy, bliss, creative, literal light that can create planetary star systems. How could there be a shortage of opportunity and energy? That's ridiculous. The fact that we were sold that there's some kind of shortage of anything, that's mind-boggling that we bought into that.
Okay.
Right? They're done with this form shit. They just do theory experience stuff, right? And we're all headed that oneness experience, but we're going to enjoy it. We're not meant to go back to oneness right away. But we're meant to enjoy sex and food and fucking and feeling and whatever it is. But we're not meant to be lost in the illusion of fear and that we're alone and, you know, all that stuff. That's what's going to go away. But we're going to really fulfill the human experiment of enjoying bodies and enjoying hearts and all that.
Yeah, we need to get there. Have you ever seen Outer Limits? You've seen that show, right? The Outer Limits. Come on. And it was a newer one in the 90s, in the early 90s. There was this one called The Grid, okay? And it's specifically, you know, about just whatever it is that's putting out this sound or frequency to turn people into robots, basically. Turn people into whatever that supercomputer wanted them to be. I believe
Yeah.
that power, the television, media, the radio, all these things, these frequencies that are in the air that keep us feeling alone, feeling like we don't have power, aren't going to give up easy. So it's important
No,
that
I-
psychedelics play a big part in speeding up the evolutionary thing that our soul is going through, I believe. That's why I feel the calling. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel it.
I totally get that. I didn't finish what I was saying about ayahuasca when I asked God's source. That's the exact thing. I could feel that, in one way to say it would be that Mother Earth cried out to the universe, to Father God, in a sense. These are all made up metaphors and, sort of symbols. But the kids are out of control. They're getting kind of lost. We need some extra help. And ayahuasca showed up.
Awesome.
Because it's a preview of what it's like to die before you die. That's why it's called the Vine of the Dead, or the Vine of Souls. Because you get a near life or a near death experience before you actually, hurt yourself in a car accident or something.
Right.
You get to feel what it's like to die because your pineal gland floods with the DMT and the dimensions become apparent. I mean, it shows up in the physical world.
That's what people keep saying when they have these experiences, that nothing changed, but everything changed.
Yep. And you get to experience. One of the most interesting ones for me, there was so many interesting stuff, but one of them was at the end we had 30 people doing it, it was a big group, and at the end of the ceremony, we're back quote into whatever we call 3D reality. That's made, see, it's all made up. That's a sliding spectrum too. And everyone reappeared, normal quote reality. We turn on the no electric lights, but some candles and some lamps maybe, everyone walked up to me. I was just laying there because I was still feeling this beautiful state. Nobody had a face.
What? Kind of
Their
weird.
bodies were fully formed again. In their faces was just
Flat?
this sort of liquid moving energy field. And I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to go away. Now it freaked me out a little bit. I'm going, is this going to shut off, or is this how I'm going to experience from now on? And I had that little thought,
that would
right?
suck.
I know. And I was just going, wow. And ayahuasca was explaining to me, she's just showing, look, it's not on and off in ceremony and, quote, real life. It's really one fluid spectrum. It's like a radio station dialer. And I'm just giving you the experience to show you a little bit of that. And that's why true masters, they start seeing in everyday life. Now, that's been happening to me, too, over the last years. I can just lay down right now and start looking off into the corner and go into this relaxing of my attention, and I can start seeing the other dimensions. I do see spirits now. I used to think that was absolutely crazy, My dad was a nuclear physicist. I grew up in Sweden, like the most atheistic country on the planet, what I'm saying? Like,
Very heady people.
Yeah, very stuck, in one way, and also very pagan. It's a very interesting combination. But so when I would meet people that I know they're not lying to me and they're actually seeing spirits and energies and, talking to my dead father or whatever, I go, what's wrong with me? How come I don't see that? But then all of a sudden you gradually start realizing, oh, no, I've been doing that all along. I've just been filtering it out.
Yeah.
That's
That's got to be wild
experience.
to actually come to that awareness.
It's so loving and so sweet for most people. Now, some people have a big shock and it opens up quickly, but for the vast majority of people, source, God, spirit, your own higher self, whatever you want to call it, the order of the universe, is very sweet with you. It just kind of helps you do it gradually. It's like watching a flower open. Even a morning glory that you know is going to open in like 3 hours. If you're actually looking at it, you can go, I want to see it move.
Right.
It won't move. But if you walk in and get a phone call, you come back out and you go, look, it moved, it freaking changed, look at that thing, right? And that's almost what spiritual awakening is like. You look back and you go, man, I am very different. But in that day when you're feeling, you're kind of not noticing it sometimes.
Yeah. I remember I only had one psychedelic experience, which is with Salvia divinorum, a little over a year and a half ago. Very jarring, but that whole unflowering effect, that was me. My first experience about being out of my body, whatever was there, spirits, whatever you want to call them, They were fucking with me. They were enjoying this. And they were, because I was in a place where there was no existence of anything. There was nothing. Nothing. This glass didn't exist. This mouse didn't exist. Nothing existed. My kids, nothing, nobody. And I was fine with it, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I was like, wow, holy shit. I'm in a place where Earth is not even a thought. It's not even, so wherever I am, then they go, you're here, and that's where you got to go. How you going to get there? So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, they're fucking with me, obviously, but it was loving. It wasn't pain. It wasn't like they were hurting, but they were having fun. Yeah. And then I found myself, before I woke up, or actually I pieced myself back together because I was trying to swallow, but I didn't have a mouth. When I was coming back together, I found myself on the floor of an indigenous home, like those homes they see in Peru, those homes for ayahuasca, those indigenous homes. But I think I was a baby, and I felt love like nothing else. Just for a moment.
Wow.
And then I was back, and I was in my room, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, what was that? It was a little jarring, but it took me about 3 months to really process it, especially that bedroom part, the landing in a room on a floor, on a dirt floor. It was like, okay, they're showing me something.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I was in an indigenous person's home. It wasn't just some house or my old home when I was a kid. I was a completely different person. So that was my experience there.
The mystery of this sort of collective experience, it's wonderful, and it is shattering, and can be, to the personality. They think, I mean, we have to let go, and
I wasn't ready to let go 100%, and they knew that.
No, that's a big one. That's a big one, and it's very loving, I feel it's very loving. It's time to wake up. Nudge, nudge, kids. It's
what it's like to be out of your body, and nothing exists, but everything exists at the same time. That's what that was like.
That's a big one, actually. I'm saying, you were sort of shot like rocket into the nothing.
I couldn't see anything really. I mean, that was a kind of a thing, everybody talking about visuals, and I didn't have that. And I think it's because I wanted that so much, I wasn't going to be shown that. You have something else. Yeah.
So you were instantly into the nothing before anything exists.
Before I got to number 15 when I was counting.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I got to about 12 and I was like, boom. And also I felt myself just folding inward like an Alex Gray painting, just kind of like a vortex, just like this. That was me. I was all of it. It was pretty cool. It was fun. I mean, but I think I said, okay, this is fun, but I think I'm ready for the real deal. I'm ready for the real McCoy. I think it's time and the event and I'm open to it. So the universe it knows.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I really enjoyed hanging out.
Yeah, man, this was fun. I enjoyed it too. I fly off the cuff a lot. Nothing scripted, but I think that you're a genuine human being. I figure, this can't be nothing but good stuff.
You know what I like? You're the most loose and enjoy like, getting us a little more real and, just being human that I've done, and I've been part of it in a long while, and it feels really good.
Ah, cool, man. Well, as I keep peeling away this onion, man, I'd like to do this again with you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Tobias, I look forward to any future stuff you do, of course.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say or ask before we go?
Oh, man, we covered a lot in, I don't know, what is it, a couple hours maybe? Shit, we could go on forever. But no, I think that, I'll send you some links of stuff we talked about here, and we'll just have some fun, keep in touch, and then maybe do this again sometime in the future.
Where are you living right now? You're in Wisconsin,
yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, meaning the good land.
Milwaukee. So is that a native name?
Well, it's what Alice Cooper said in Wayne's World, so it must be true.
Okay. I don't remember that. Okay.
When you watch it, you're going to laugh again.
You had some good lines. What was that? Dating as a 40-year-old is fucking nuts.
Dating in your 40s is fucked up, man. And I don't owe you anything if we came out of the same vagina, so there.
I love that one. I love that. Just because we came out of the same vagina doesn't mean I owe you shit. I like that one.
All right, man. You have a good night. Thanks again for all your talk.
I'm gonna use that one.
You can
when
have
you
it.
get this together,
All
when you
right.
get this together, I want to post this interview on my YouTube channel too. So
All right, man. Yep.
if it's when you got it ready or whatever you do to it.
Yeah, I'll just pull it apart. Like it's just an hour and 42 minutes. I'll probably get an hour out of it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Much love, and
Same
I
here, man.
appreciate you. Yeah.
Obviously put this in, but yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You talked about retreats. I thought, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that would be a good thing. I mean, you've obviously done it enough times to know
Yeah.
it's safe and how to do it with people. You've never done it before.
Yeah. I've done it a few times with people. I don't consider myself. I'm not a shaman in the Amazonian way, but I'm a shaman in the sense of the Western way. And ayahuasca comes and she's the one who does the work, and I'm just we'll make sure there's a safe space, and we know how to run it, and we'll play the music and
Yeah, because setting has to take place in here.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, and the diet, and that we're really pure and no medications. The whole thing. We follow the protocols, but it's a little looser. We play recorded music basically, which is native traditional Icaros, certainly in the beginning of the ceremony to set the stage. But we might also play some chanting or whale sounds or something that just takes you off into other another place.
Nice.
Mother Earth sounds. The whale sounds are interesting. Shiva chanting, Buddhist chanting. They're different frequencies, For Westerners, we're not all jungle. See, the reason ayahuasca is a certain way is because those people grew up, they're of the jungle, and so they sing the songs they hear in the jungle, but we have different songs.
Well,
We have,
you talk about that. I just wanted to add this. The last few years, really, but last few months specifically, every night, I throw on those songs. I can't sleep without them.
mm,
No,
What
Rolling
sounds?
Thunder, mostly Rolling Thunder next to my
Yeah.
bed, and the sound of the jungle and stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I have the surround sound in my bedroom, so when it's pitch black in here, that's how I fall asleep every night. So
Oh,
I was
that's
just going to say, you said that these spirits call you from that sound.
yeah, they do. You might look up some Icaros, too. Let me say, just Google, Icaros,
Sure.
which is how they term the...
ICAROS.
Yeah, exactly. And just find ones that you resonate with,
Yeah, that's the key. Finding
Uh-huh.
the ones that you resonate with. I've seen a few, just that maybe I just need to add to it. Like maybe the thunder and lightning, maybe whatever it is that I need to add to it for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I would love to do that
All
with
right.
you and talk to you further on it. But yeah, absolutely. Man, you're an awesome dude to talk to.
Thank you, Bobby. I'm enjoying you. I'm enjoying your... Whenever there's real awakening going on, that feeds my heart. You're and that's I can totally feel that in your life. You're going through a upgrade and awake, whatever you want to call it, but coming back to who you are more. And I mean, that's what makes us feel good. Makes me feel good,
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate what you've done. So you've allowed me to have a place to go to whenever I want to hear something interesting. And every message you've put out there, I listen to it again. I pick up something different. What's and your style too, because I stole your style too. I was like, I like how he does that. I'm gonna do that.
The videos, the YouTube videos, they make sense to you?
Not all of them, not all of it, but the stuff that does.
No, I bet.
Yeah, and then when I go
Yeah.
back to watch it again, depending on where I am, it's like, oh, and there's something else talks to me out of that same 15 minutes or whatever long it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do have a lot to say, and I think that, people should check it out if they're moving down the path of soul searching. Definitely, definitely. I tell people, hey, listen to Tobias. Well, what kind of a name is that? Well, not John.
I know.
Don't worry about it.
I know. It's what?
What kind of a name
The
is
heck?
that? Is it a company?
That's
No, it's
weird.
not a company. Just watch the video, Chris. Just watch the video.
Tobias bass players. Bass. There's a really expensive bass called Tobias bass, I guess. They should get me to have one. Damn it, I just had that thought.
There you
They
go.
should give me... All right, I'm in. Give me a bass. I need a bass. That'd be good. What else I was going to tell you? All right, that's gone. But yeah. So we may do some invitation retreats here in the States for ceremonies, you know?
Great, yeah.
And I will feel that through when it happens, you know?
Yeah, one way or
Hey.
the other, I'm going to keep, putting aside my pennies and eventually, get myself out there for 2 weeks, 9 days, whatever it is, however it happens, it's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. So it's going to be great.
There you go. Colorado feels totally right for you, by the way.
Just
And not that,
yeah.
and it's not because of the pot, although that's just
No,
part of
no,
it.
that was before I was interested, but it was just a plus.
Yeah, it's just a little icing, you know,
So,
something to help, a little ingredient.
It's so stupid. None of it. All of it. Anything you want to do
Yeah.
with your body, your consciousness, your mind, you can be able to do whatever you want as long as you don't harm another soul.
Yeah.
And that's how I
Right.
see it. And then, Colorado is sunnier. That's all. Just like Wisconsin, just sunnier.
I just feel open space for you.
Oh, thank
Like
you.
it's gonna open space, you know, that one. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thanks for all your time, man. And
All right.
you have a good
Much
night,
love.
sir.
You take care.
All right. Peace.